But welcome everybody to Manifest Mondays. This is episode 19. We 19 weeks straight on them. You feel me? And today we got a very, 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 very special guest. Hanifah Irie. I could say a million things about this woman right here, man. Come on, architecture, man. Born and raised in Denver. Became an architect, went down to the South, stayed in the South, never went back to the Denver. There's a lot of things that's going on. Nah, man, but just somebody who's really solid, who's really like stuck to the plan from the jump. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when you go straight out of high school to college and chase something like becoming an architect, it's hard to stick with that long enough to see that actually become what it actually is, man. And I know it had to be a whole nother layer to it, being a black woman the whole time through it. You know what I mean? Going from Denver, Colorado to an HBCU, man. So a lot of layers to this episode right here, man. It's gonna be a really dope one. But welcome Hanifah Irie to the show.
Thank you,
man.
Let's do it.
Hanifah in the building. Pleasure to have you.
And she's so many things that I didn't even have to like lay out that she's also my cousin. You know what I mean? That's like, you know what I'm saying? She's also family, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, proud of you, cuzzo, man. How you feeling today?
I'm good. It's a Monday and Monday.
Monday's
So-
a Monday.
Yeah, it definitely did. A little more Monday than usual too, didn't it?
For sure.
The Monday. This is one of the Mondays.
I broke it down a little bit, but can you tell for everybody, we will have the audio on Spotify and all that later. So can you just tell them a couple things about yourself, man? How, introduce yourself a little bit to the people that may not know you?
Yeah, for sure. Born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I went to school for architecture at Tuskegee University, HBCU in Alabama. That was a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
I hands down, one of the best experiences of my life. I'm so glad I did it. After graduation, I moved to Atlanta and started my career in architecture, doing residential, high-rise, student living, government, commercial, industrial, retail. I put my hands on a little bit of everything. Right now, I'm doing apartment complexes for a developer, and it's a dope experience from going from seeing things in your head to being on site with the construction team fixing the issues in real time. So I've gotten a nice little introduction to all of it. I love it. I love design. I've always loved design. Ramond can tell you, growing up, I made him watch HGTV. I was probably the only 7-year-old watching HGTV.
Real life story right there, man.
And they would hate me for it, but I love it. There's something about design and something about creating a space that I just love, and I'm here for all of it. So yeah, I'm in Charlotte now, doing design still, residential, looking for a pivot. I'm in a position in my career where I'm ready for a pivot. So yeah,
we're gonna circle back around to that for sure.
we got all the questions loaded for you today. So.
I know y'all do.
I'm just curious though. Like, since you was born and raised in Denver, how was that transition like from like moving from Denver to Alabama? Like, how was it like for you?
Well, going from Denver to Alabama was one thing, but going to Denver to an HBCU, I had complete culture shock.
Okay.
I was like, this is a lot of black people, and they were all different. And I think that was the first time that I really got to see the spectrum of black. Like in Denver, like I'm Caribbean, so it's like black and Caribbean. All right, bet that's what it is.
Right.
I never wrapped my mind around how different the Cali black folks are from the Florida black folks, to Texas and New York.
Right.
It's a whole different situation. So it was different and being in that bubble, but like outside of Alabama, outside of Tuskegee in Alabama, that was the first time I ever experienced racism. So that was also another layer of the culture shock. So,
Right.
you know, I'm quick on my feet, so I'm gonna always figure it out. But it was
Right.
definitely an adjustment.
Yeah,
Right.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can definitely. If for those of y'all who don't know, Colorado is very, very,
Why
very much
say it?
the pale skinned.
It's beige out there.
So
Very beige,
Very,
beige loaf.
for sure.
I can only imagine what it'd be like, you know, transitioning to that. But obviously, it was a success, you know, nonetheless. So here we are now. I guess pivoting from, I guess, into architecture specifically. Was there a specific moment, like throughout your like childhood or something like that, where you knew it was like, I want to be an architect, and why?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't a specific moment during my childhood. Like most Black kids, we're not exposed to architecture.
Yeah.
Fact.
You might be exposed to a fly house in Cherry Creek.
Right.
You might see a new building going up, but it's never been a specific word on it. So up until my senior year in high school, I think I was gonna go pre-med. I was gonna be a pediatrician. I'm a healer, so I was like, I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna be a doctor. And I broke my foot, and they took me out of my gym class and put me in this engineering class. And I was like, oh, this is kind of lit. And this is kind of fire. Yeah. So it was all divine alignment, you know, because I was going pre-med for sure. And I don't even like blood, so I don't know what I was thinking, but I was convinced.
Well, that's part of like really being that young, trying to make a life decision. Nobody really knows at 17 what we want to do for the rest of our life. Like you said, like what would you be doing with all that blood? You know what I'm saying? You know, being a doctor, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's a whole nother layer. But no, that's right.
Yeah. So it was divine alignment.
Yeah.
And they put me in that class, and I joined the architecture, engineering, construction club.
Oh wow!
Ended up getting a scholarship, a whole bunch of mentors, and I was like, okay,
fire.
I see you did your big one.
Yeah.
So,
I actually wanted to be an architect when I was younger until I realized how much math goes into it, and I was like, oh no, this ain't for me. This ain't for me.
Math.
No, for me.
It is a lot of math.
I was like,
what's the highest level of math you have to take to be an architect? The highest level.
I'll be honest with you. Math really kicked my ass.
To be
I almost didn't graduate because of math.
Right.
But the highest level, I think we had to take 3 different courses. I try to block out the negative stuff in my life.
Right.
So I can't really remember it so clear. But
I like that.
yeah, it's like 3 levels. It's like pre-calc, geometry, and some level of calculus or something like that.
Right.
But then we have physics. That's also a whole bunch of math.
Yeah.
But it's like physics for architecture. So I'm like thermal rates and all of that stuff. But
damn. Yeah, stuff you never even think about, huh?
No.
Thermal rates.
Like I didn't think I needed physics. Well, I clearly didn't think a lot about it, but I didn't think I needed physics. But it's like it makes sense. Like I got to make sure the walls don't, can hold themselves up for one, and then also not let too much heat and cold through. Like it's a lot that you got to think about that I didn't think about until I had to. It's like, yeah.
So when you got to Tuskegee, were you like thrown straight into like architecture classes, or was like a couple years of like just regular college classes where you still kind of figuring it out, or was it right out the gate? How was that?
Out the gate. First,
for real?
Yeah, first day we had this big old board. It's in a T-square. We had to draw. Like now I have the luxury of doing it on the computer. But those first 2 years at Tuskegee, you had to draw everything on vellum. And it's smeared. Anybody who's part of Taylor Gang understands the trauma that comes with that because, baby. But yeah, no, they threw us in first year. I went to Tuskegee, of course, so it was a professional program.
Right.
So the first 2 years, it's like your undergrad classes, but you have studio. Studio is where you actually do all of your design.
Okay.
It's a wait, I'm traumatized. 4 hours. It's a 4-hour class every other day for your whole way through architecture school.
Damn. And that's
Yeah.
that's the studio session that you just go there, and what do you said you just like work on designs every other day?
Every other day. That's the designated time is 4 hours every other day, but we're in there all hours in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's like, so we'll get a project. So like, let's say that we have to design a school. You'll use those 4 hours Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to design your school with the help of a professor, and they'll kind of help you and guide along your design and be like, yeah, no, you should reconsider that. So, yeah, we did that a whole lot. I loved it. That's when I really was like, oh no, I really rock with design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, this is how I'm fire.
Yeah.
Now we putting together a whole house.
A whole one though, huh?
A whole house. A whole house.
Is there
Right.
anything that you kind of like wish you knew before you got into it that you was like, damn, I had no idea about this? Like, you know what I mean? Because you said like you're kind of not knowing anything about architecture, trying it a little bit in a class and then just picking it. Is there something that you wish you knew before you actually got into it?
I wish I knew the politics of corporate America. Not even necessarily picking it, because I like it was divine alignment. Once God put me in position, I was like, oh no, this makes sense for me. But it was all the politics that came after in corporate America that I was like, no, be so for real.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I wish I knew, because I'm not a good code switcher, and baby.
Code switching is tough, man.
Switch.
Yeah, code switching is really a tough thing that, you know, that we don't really talk about often, but like every Black person probably has to do it, right? Like we can't be like, we got to be, you know, figure out how to be an employee and like a different version of ourselves to be to even like make it connect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're lucky enough, you can get a kind of job where you can be kind of close to yourself, but you kind of gotta, like, if we start taking interviews, we gotta be a different person and put, you know what I'm saying, be kind of selling myself as a different person. It's nuts. Like code switching is a crazy thing, bro.
Crazy thing. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's one thing. And then like Tanisha just put in here, they don't pay as much. They definitely don't. That's why I work for a developer now. Because it's a bag.
Explain that. Explain the difference between like it not paying enough. What do you mean by it not paying enough, and then versus it working with a developer?
Okay, so like in architecture, you come in, you work the corporate skill. With me having 8 years of experience, there's a certain pay that they're going to pay me regardless of how diverse my experience is. Being unlicensed, I'm an unlicensed designer. Technically not an architect, you know, titles and stuff.
If you get to the technicals.
Technicalities, right. But somebody with the same amount of experience with me with a license is going to get paid more out the gate.
Gotcha.
So instead of me staying in a traditional architecture firm, I took a leap and went and found a developer where I'm, you know, the bridge between design and construction. And I have the same knowledge base. And technically, I think right now I'm getting paid more than your average licensed architect with 8 years of experience.
Okay.
So I kind of figured out how to finesse the game.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to leverage the system to your advantage, right?
For sure. Yeah, and I mean, and then, honestly, if you think about it, the developer who's just buying and purchasing the land, they gonna flip the land. They just want to make sure they can get their money back.
Right.
So somebody with my understanding of how things are built and budgets and all of that stuff, I can consult a developer and be like, you don't have enough room to really do what you want to do, but we can figure it out. It's going to cost more. It's going to take more time. And then they're like, okay, bet, we understand your expertise. We don't care if you have a license, because they're going to outsource all of that stuff anyway. They're going to outsource the documents. They're going to outsource the engineers. They're going to outsource a lot of that stuff. And I'm just like their eyes. Like, your engineer's running game on you.
Right.
So you mentioned the process of like licensed versus unlicensed. So kind of explain that process. So typically, like to become an architect, like how many years of schooling like do you typically have to go through if someone were to pursue that career? And then
Right.
as far as, like getting licensed versus unlicensed, what does that process look like as well?
So, like I said, I went to accredited
Mhm.
HBCU. So it's a 5-year program.
Okay.
So there's an extra year that I had to do.
Mhm.
So from there, I can go and get my little three years of hours and start testing immediately.
Mhm.
Now, somebody who doesn't go to a professional program, they have to get a master's in architecture, or like let's say Money has a communications degree, right?
Mhm.
He can go get a master's in architecture and now sit for his architecture license
Gotcha.
once he gets his
Mm.
hours and all that stuff. So
Gotcha.
that's the kind of difference in even qualifying to get your license.
Gotcha.
Now, once you get your license, now there's 6 different tests. I think it adds up to maybe close to 20 hours of testing to get your license. And then
20
once I get my license,
hours of
I can,
testing?
yeah.
Damn.
God damn. 20 hours of I used to hate the CSAP. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And imagine testing it and not passing. That should make you
Yeah.
mad. Because
And you
not only
probably
do I
have
have to
to pay
spend my
for each
money,
test, huh? Yeah.
yeah, you have to pay for each test. You have to study. The materials are expensive.
Mm.
I mean, the blessing is some companies will reimburse you for past tests. So if you feel confident, you can flip your little money through all 6 tests.
Right.
But I took a couple. I took a test last year. I don't know what I was thinking.
It
I
was
didn't
like that
pass, but
because
it's
you know so
okay.
much about the field already. It's like in my mind I'm thinking about it's like the driver's test, right? Like I knew how to
Right.
drive, but like there's specific scenarios
Yeah.
where I didn't know, am I supposed to hit the, you know what I'm saying, this before I check
Right.
the rear view, or do I need to check the rear view before, you know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
kind of like it's the specifics of small things, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly how it is. Where there's a way that you're supposed to do it by the book,
Yeah.
but there's a common practice that's done. I
Mhm.
can't answer common practice because I'm gonna get it wrong.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
to answer the way that y'all want, and they be throwing questions
Yeah.
out there that make no sense. Like, what was the first city to get a city grid? I
Mhm.
don't know.
And
Like, I don't know.
why does that matter for you to
For
have a license?
real.
That doesn't even make sense. Like I don't live there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't
Right.
even live there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's
Right.
crazy.
So
So
yeah. Go ahead.
so on the, like the day-to-day basic, right? What are some things that you enjoyed about just being an architect and some things you dislike?
When I was in the field, I loved going and seeing what was done.
Mhm.
I loved kind of looking over because I know the blueprints pretty
Right.
well, so I can be like, that's not the code. We need to fix that. Or I like the way that you guys ran this floor. Is actually saving us floor panels, so the next units run it the same way.
Yeah.
Um, Stuff like that, where I can kind of find places to kind of improve the design in real time. That's what I absolutely loved about where
Yeah.
I'm at now. And then like walking the site and actually seeing the process, like knowing, okay, this is what's on paper, but literally seeing the process of it being done, it is
Mm.
so lit.
That's
Like this is
fire.
Manifest Monday. Architects are
Yeah.
manifestors. Like we see it
Facts.
from
Yeah.
the
Literally, huh?
plan to the
Facts.
completion, and it's just so dope to be in the midst of a manifestation. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Absolutely.
I absolutely love. And then I also love sexy design. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
you see a building that you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Like
hard.
they did that. They did that.
I love sexy design. Like
Yeah.
down to the details, like of the ceiling, the wall panels. That's more of an interior design.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? When we get to it, like it's my vision that's gonna make it happen. So I love all of that.
So
Right.
speaking of designs, like what are your like favorite styles of architecture? Like, like are we talking Art Deco, colonial, like what I guess are you more modern? Like what I guess forms of architecture really gravitate to you?
When I first got into architecture. It was modern, everything modern. I like the angles. I like the da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I love that. But as I got a little sophistication in me, I understand that some of the other designs have so much more character.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I went on a home tour in Atlanta where it was an old house. It was a traditional house that was probably there when there was no road. But they had went and flipped it and remodeled it to a point that the inside felt modern with character. So I don't know what to call that, like transitional type of design. I love a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I think
That's fire.
that brings out the sexy, right? That blending.
It does. Right. You know what I'm saying? Give me some color, give me some texture, layering it on. You know, curves. I love curves. You know, everybody love curves. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a
fact. Yeah.
You love curves. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said that's a fact. You funny, bro.
That's a fact. Everybody loves a little curve, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So kind of stepping it back a little bit, I kind of wanted to see like when a developer comes to you, right? What do you have, and then what's happening, right? Like, is it just like, here's a picture of a blank plot of land, do your thing, like, or what does it look like? Like, what does that process look like?
It can be like that. They can come with just a block of land, and then it's up to me and the team to kind of figure out, based on the jurisdiction, what can be done with that land.
Yeah.
There's setbacks, there's, water lines, there's all type of things that you can and cannot touch. So that's the initial analysis that we have to do to kind of understand what can even be done. You might have a piece of land that has, you might have a piece of land that might have a little bit of a river on the corner, but the flood zone is too deep that you're like, you probably have 200 square feet to build on, and you can only go up 2 stories. So that's something that we kind of get into. And then once we determine what the land can handle, we kind of dig into what the client wants, the developer, the client, whoever. And it's like, okay, so what is your budget? What's your square footage? What is your program? What do you need in this building? Because you may only think about the actual rooms and what you want to use the building for. But then it's like, me on the other end, I have to dig into what the building actually needs to function.
Right.
You only have this much square footage, but you're not thinking about your mechanical rooms. You're not thinking about your electrical rooms.
Right.
You're not thinking about how your underground sewer is going to have an impact on your design. That's my job,
Right.
So
that's heavy.
So are you working like hand in hand as like you're like obviously like constructing this, or like is this like something like you're kind of all doing by yourself?
The best way to explain it, and I know other disciplines might feel biased, but the architect is the quarterback.
Gotcha.
So it was like, this is the play we about to run. I need my structural engineer to understand this cantilever, and I need my electrical engineer to understand that I don't want any light showing. So you have to work with the ceiling plan that I give you to make sure that we get our foot candles, but we also look sexy. So that's kind of how that works. I do work hand in hand with engineers and civil and landscape, and I talk to them on a daily basis. Even when I'm in the field solving issues, it's like we don't have underground sprinklers for these plants that we just spent all this money on. We need to call the civil engineer in the landscape ASAP, because we have to fix this. So we definitely work hand in hand.
So I guess piggybacking off of that, so in this field, right, we all understand it's a very male dominated field, so kind of peeling back like some of those layers, like, getting into the more depth of what this all looks like, especially, navigating this field, male dominated field, not even just male dominated, white male dominated.
Go ahead, say it. Say it with your chest. It's okay.
For your own personal journey as a Black woman, like, what has it been like for you navigating all of that?
the blessing in my journey is that most of it has been in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Um, being in a white
Explain that a
male
little bit.
dominated
Explain that a
field.
little bit too.
Yeah, so being in a white male dominated field, that's the statement.
That said a lot. You said a lot. You said a lot
It
just now.
does. That's yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a double minority in most rooms that I walk into in this industry.
Right.
Being in Atlanta, it's kind of a relief because I know if I'm the only female, chances are there's a black man.
Yeah.
And
Right.
if there's no black person, chances are there's a Latino, there's an Asian. Atlanta's a city that's very diverse, so it gives me the ability to kind of find an ally quick.
Right.
Now that I
Mhm.
live in Charlotte,
Mhm.
I am the only double minority in a lot. No, let me say that back. In every room I walked
Yeah.
into, and it's
Wow.
like, my God. And it's not easy because I'm an out loud black woman.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not mutating nothing about me.
Mhm.
Before I locked my hair changed on a weekly basis. I got comments on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My nails are kind of muted right now just because of the season I'm in. But we had colors. We had long nails. We had jewels and all of that stuff. That's something that I have to deal with on a regular basis. And it's like, you're talking about my nails, but your lips are chapped.
Right.
You know? It's just
Stay
like,
focused, huh? That's your lips aren't up to code. Where you like,
they're
you know what I'm saying?
not up to
Like,
code.
like, let's figure that part out. You know
For
what I mean?
sure. But it's just something that you have to deal with, and that was the blessing. That's why I'm so thankful for my career thus far in Atlanta, is because I had an ally.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have an ally in the corporate space that I was currently working in, I had made a network with somebody else. Some of my closest friends from Tuskegee lives in Atlanta, and when I tell you they held me down,
Yeah.
I can come home and be like, let me tell you about this.
Mm-hmm.
And my homeboy would have my back and be like, I know, let it out. Now go tomorrow and hold your head up high and handle that shit. Because this is the way we have to code switch and handle ourselves. Because, coming from being a black woman in this space, they already think you're not qualified. Being a black woman from an HBCU, they don't think you're educated enough to handle what we're handling. And baby, I can run circles around you.
Yeah.
Barefoot.
Barefoot.
You know?
Dropping
Come on,
bars.
man.
And it kind of puts you in a position where you have to kind of step back and really fully understand who you are.
Yeah.
Because being in these spaces, imposter syndrome will come and be real and be like,
yep, very much so.
This because of what it is, this white man is younger than me.
Yeah.
And he has a license, so they're listening to him. But I have more than 4 years more of experience.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he don't know shit. His daddy is the CEO.
Yeah.
That's hard, And it gets hard where it's like, you, as being the only black woman in a lot of rooms, I'll say something and they'll continue the conversation. But then the white guy next to me will say the exact same thing I just said. And they're like, damn, that's a good idea.
I never thought of that. Huh? That was nice. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Why
that's crazy, yeah.
Why didn't anybody else think of that? Like, I literally just okay. Like, all right.
So I just want to take a second to say shout out to your friends. They're in the comments. I'm loving it.
They live.
Crazy. Yeah, shout out to come on, man. Shout out to Nifa's gang, man. They in here, man.
Yeah, but
one thing I seen in there, they said that not only are you running circles on them, but you doing it in heels and doing the Dougie when you come in. So you know what I'm saying? Let's go. They seen the video. You know what I mean?
They're there.
I can definitely imagine, because I feel like as black people, just in general, I feel like oftentimes in those spaces, in those rooms, we have to overcompensate, right? Because like it's like we're to prove ourselves more so than our other white counterparts or whatever the case may be, because you know they feel like they just because of our skin color, like they think we're inferior, or like my
Fact.
intellect is now inferior kind of thing. So we have to honestly, like most times, overcompensate. But I can only imagine as a black woman too what it's like being in those spaces, especially not as just a black woman, but the only black woman too. You know, so I appreciate you sharing. That's real.
Nah, I appreciate you. Like y'all know the struggle. You know,
Right.
y'all got
Right.
black women in y'all's lives,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
you know.
Even for us to incorporate the same thing, you know, you have to like work hard. You have to like make them believe that you're capable of doing the job. So all the time it's like you have to prove yourself. You know, even though you have all the credentials, your experience, but you still have to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what do you see in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, do you still see yourself in this field, or is there something else you're thinking about? Just curious.
Shout out to Ariel, because we had a conversation about pimping the system. And that's exactly what's about to happen in the next 5 years. Like I said, I'm in Charlotte now, so I'm looking to pivot into a different direction. I'm gonna sit down and hone in on, you know, this experience, and I'm gonna get my license on somebody else's dollar. And as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna go and consult somewhere else by myself and not have to deal with the politics. I'm not a politician. I'm a creative. And that's what I want to get back into doing. So yeah, we about to pimp the system and get this license and keep it moving.
Oh man, that's the system, man. And I just wanted to add, because while we was talking about that, man, it's so important to have the, like, first off, what you're doing and like who you are while you're doing it is so important for other people to see and just to know it's possible, right? Like a lot of other black girls, like you said, might not even have ever thought like I could be an architect, right? Like, so first off, it's important for you to just be walking in that, and the second layer is to just be walking in it still as you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really it's powerful to, you know, to stay yourself in a place that, you know what I mean? Like, they want you to code switch all the time, but you're like, nah, I'm gonna get locked up. We're going long nails on them, and you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna probably show up on time, but maybe not. But if I'm gonna probably be on time and you know what I'm saying, and then we're gonna get to pointing around, and I need you doing that and you doing that. You know what I mean? So quarterback in that situation, like you said, man. So I just want to let you know how important that is, man. That, you know, something I never overlooked, man. And even in rooms that you're not in, I'm always like, yo, my cousin, an architect, man. To add to it, because I want you to speak on it a little bit, because we got to do it this past weekend. But she came out to Arizona, right? She came out to Arizona, and you know, and I think it was 2019. You know, give me if I'm wrong on the dates, but you were on a project that designed the Omni in downtown Tempe, right? So while she was out in Arizona, we got to in person go see what that looked like, and she got to, for the first time, see what the designs look like versus a fully functional building with people at the front desk and a security guard escorting us up to the pool section in the rooftop. Man, how did that feel, and how, you know, how was it from going to like that was an idea, and then you like there's people working in the building that you designed, like it's a fully functional situation? What's that feel like, man?
Oh my gosh, I get butterflies just thinking about it. Like, I'm trying not to blush because it'll be showing up quick on me. But it is like the dopest experience. And thank you for allowing me to take up that space. You know, because we was on vacation, we could have just got lit. But that was important to me, because that project, like you said, I kind of started it in 2019, but when COVID hit and everything was shut down, and at the time I was working on senior living, and senior living wasn't getting done in COVID because we got to protect the seniors. So they put me on 2 hotels, and those 2 hotels was the thing that kept me afloat during COVID, and I'm so thankful for it. And to be able to, baby, an Omni? What?
Come on, man. And I don't know if y'all know what the Omni is. That thing is player, baby. That thing is player.
Player. You know, like, and it's just a humbling experience to be in a place where when I graduated, I couldn't afford much. but to be in a position where I can design not one but two hotels that average $400 a night.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I gotta save up to stay in something I designed.
Yeah.
Crazy. And
That's
it's oh, I just get chills thinking about it because it's the dopest experience. It's dope to like walk in and see people at the front desk and checking in and go sit on the rooftop and they got a guitarist playing Sade and Lauryn Hill.
I
And
knew
that's like, dang.
I knew it was meant to be when we walked up to the rooftop and they had a guitarist playing the acoustic version of Lauryn Hill. I was like, this moment had to be like this. Like I couldn't picture it no other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful moment, man.
So big shout out, big shout out, and like we see you and we respect you. You know, so just that, you know, I actually got to experience the Omni for myself as well because I left like I think like 2 weeks before you came in town.
What is the Omni? I'm curious. What is
the Omni? It's just a player hotel. You know,
it's a nice ass hotel chain though. It's like they have Omnis in like all kinds of different cities. Like I think they got one. I'm not sure if they got one in Denver. They do got one in Denver, but it's But there's just it's like a chain of hotels. You know what I'm saying? The really nice ones.
You know, so kudos to Hanifah for that. But I actually got to experience it for myself because I think I left like 2 weeks before you came in town, and I was sipping my espresso martini at the hotel bar. You know, just taking it all in. Like, yo, Hanifah did this. Like, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. So I mean, really like tipping my hat to you. I was enjoying my espresso martini a little extra. I was like, shit, life is good. I was like, you know, Hanifah did that. So I was just like, like I said, I just want to let you know firsthand that we see you and we respect you. You know, so shout out to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Like for real. Like I love that you guys are a part of my life and can experience the things that I design. But I'm always excited about y'all being in my life because of the way that y'all push me. Like you guys are my tribe. Like y'all say my tribe is in the comments. Y'all are my tribe. Like it was no second guessing when y'all actually hell yeah. I'm showing up to this. Yeah. Because the way that y'all showed for me in ways that y'all don't even know, like the conversation, the books that y'all put us on, you know, the conversation about stock and like just growing our minds and just, you know, growing as a being past what, you know, we could know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They say the circle of influence is amazing. And I'm glad that y'all are in my circle of influence is lit.
Yep, absolutely. So
come on, man.
For all those who don't know, including Diamond, go ahead and book a stay at the Omni.
Yes, the Tempe Omni in Arizona, you know, I did that one. And then Hartness Hotel in South Carolina. I did that one too.
I love it.
Go ahead. Drop
so when I take a trip out there, we gotta stay there then, huh? We're gonna drive down to South Carolina and stay there. That's what's up.
Yes.
So question. You talk about like, you know, like future plans and all that stuff as far as like the architecture industry and everything like that. Are there any like hidden truths or like things that most people probably wouldn't know or wouldn't assume about the architecture industry that you would like to share? You know, spill all the tea is what we're saying.
Yeah.
As a Black woman, I'm gonna start with the obvious.
Yeah.
You know, we just talked about me getting licensed and all of that stuff. I feel like it's important to me to get licensed, not for me, but the next generation.
Right.
Currently, today, there's less than 600 licensed African American architects in the United States.
Wow.
And you're not saying women, you're saying just African American, period.
American women in the United States. African Americans make up, I think the statistic now is about 7% of the whole industry.
Wow.
Right.
So that's crazy. In perspective, I just Googled it. There are estimated 75,000 architects in the U.S. and there's only 600 African Americans. Less than 600.
Damn.
597 or something like that.
Wow.
Not even that. I think the last number I saw was 564.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I say less than because, life happens. Somebody's testing right now.
Facts.
Damn.
Shout out to them too.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's a good statistic to be a part. So that's one reason why I'm getting my license. Even if I just hold it to just slide across the table, like play with somebody else. That's the only reason So yeah, that's one thing that people don't know. I know that a lot of people think that architects are, the creative minds behind it, and we can do whatever we want. That's not it. Everything that we do is driven by budget.
Right.
And a lot of the creative stuff that we do gets value engineered out because of budget.
Yeah.
And so, and when you see a building that is really, really fly, just know somebody fought for it. It's to the point now that when I design elements that I think are just so cool, I tie it to something that's necessary for the building to work, so that we can't value engineer it out, because everything I do is gonna have a little bit of sauce on it, and so it forces you to problem solve in a different way. It makes you fight for something in a different way.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm glad you said it like that. That was fire.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
So since budget is such a hot topic, if someone were to approach you, like let's just say, I am a billionaire, I have endless amounts of money, pretty much is what I'm saying, and I'm giving you pretty much a blank check, and I'm just like, I just want you to design something dope. What would you design? Like if someone just handed you a blank check and was just like, do something that you're passionate, like just love to see fruition, what would that be?
Great question. They still got budget.
Hypothetically speaking, like let's say I'm sitting on like Elon Musk type pockets, and I'm like, look, whatever you can fathom, I can afford it.
Wow. Well, that's good. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Good question.
It would be a mixed use kind of complex where we can cover everything, where you can have somewhere to live, because I fell in love with, residential, but then the needed things, like a learning center, restaurants, creative spaces, a lot of green space. That's something that we're running out of. Purposeful green space, just because it's good for the mental health. I think I would create a space to kind of help people feel good, learn how to feel good, and heal you while you feel good. It would be sexy, but it's not necessarily driven off of, I think when it comes to something like that, it's more so the necessity than the aesthetic. But it'll be fly for sure.
It'll be for sure. So
That's fine.
Earlier you mentioned like politics in corporate and like architect. Like what exactly when you say politics? I'm just curious, right? When you say politics, what exactly are you talking about? Just like the day-to-day politics just in the corporate world, or just like something more specific when it comes to like architecture?
It's the politics of, just corporate America. It's not the easiest thing to navigate if you don't want to. And I don't want to navigate corporate America, so it's not easy. But there's specific industry politics that come with it, where certain clients feel a certain way, or for instance, I got hired for this job really early in my career, and I could not understand why they were paying me so much. And I wasn't complaining. I just knew what I was worth, and they was over it at the time. Now we can run it back up, but at the time I understood. And I really wasn't doing very much designing. It felt like a personality hire until they started sending me to meetings in the city. And I was like, okay, this is cool experience. And in one meeting I was in the city, and they was like, yeah, we're completely qualified. Our architect is Black. And I said, oh.
Damn. So you was helping them.
I'm the Black architect.
You helping them meet the quota kind of situation, huh?
Right.
Yeah, so there's politics
Damn.
like that where it's like,
Damn.
do you really want me here or are you trying to do something
Damn.
else?
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, stuff like that.
So are you more like focused
Damn.
on like the entrepreneurship route now, like trying to like have your own thing, have people work for you? Is that what you're thinking about, like the long term going forward?
Yeah, I'm trying to get about this thing. If I can, for real, because it's like, it's just, I work for a company right now. They changed their mind a lot, and it's like, how do you expect us to grow
Yeah.
if
Right.
we can't, if we're never rooted? And then I don't know, I'm ready for something that's more fulfilling. You know, doing the corporate America thing, like, yeah, the bag is nice, but I want to be fulfilled in what I do and know that it's purpose driven.
Right.
When I was doing like some of the designs I did earlier in my career, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. But now that I'm on the construction team and I see what they're really doing out there, I'm like, y'all are really just doing this for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I do want to go more of an entrepreneurial route. I'm trying to figure out what that looks like because
Right.
most of my life has been rooted in architecture.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you are in a position where you're like, okay, this isn't fulfilling, it's uncomfortable to jump all the way out of it. Like,
Right.
this right now is currently funding plan A. Even if I don't like it,
Yeah.
it's funding plan A.
Yeah.
So how do I kind of figure out how to make that move so that my pockets don't hurt, but my heart is full?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I think
That's the $1 million question, ain't it?
it's
Right.
funny. Think about that's the $1 million question. I was like,
So,
I think that's
That's
what.
the $1 million question, man. When you got to find that balance. If you find that balance in life, you
Right.
made it. It don't even matter what your number,
Right.
the money amount is, what you do. If you find that balance to the question that you just said, then you made it. You know what I mean?
That's financial freedom,
mm-hmm,
right? You know, I think I
mm-hmm.
find it. So, in your journey, you've obviously been committed to architecture for so long. Reflecting back on it now, do you think if you could do it all over again, would you?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah.
Without a second guess. I would, even back to just going to Tuskegee, I
Right.
would do it
Yeah.
over from there.
Yeah.
I would exactly the same. Now where I would
Yeah.
pivot is out when I got out of school. I think working in corporate America was very vital to kind of sharpen and shape, you know, the professional.
Right.
Because coming out, I had a good time. I was a little wild. I had designs and I was smart, but I wasn't refined.
Right.
Corporate America forced me to refine, and I think I need that to some degree.
Right.
But where I wouldn't stay in it that long. If I could, I would have pivoted like maybe 3 years ago.
Right.
And started some more individual ventures, smaller projects,
Right.
founded somebody who had the pocket to flip houses and got into their pocket flipping houses with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just, what I'm saying, changing up the way I, approached it. Do I regret anything? Nah. But, yeah, I think that's where I would do it all over again, for sure, without a second thought.
Wow.
So I have a question. We were talking about what was the question before just now? Do I enjoy it? What I do? My question to y'all is in the vein of trying to figure out what fills your heart in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if you didn't have to, you weren't getting paid for it, but you would do it regardless? Do you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you know me. You know what I'm saying?
I think all of you guys know.
For sure, no.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm proud of kind of everybody on here is because not only do we know, I feel like we try to live in it too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We'll figure out how to make the specifics of how to make it work. But like I know for damn sure I'm gonna be doing something music related. It's just
Right.
it's not a question. It's
Right.
not a question. Maybe in my past life I was like a dude in like Jamaica with just like a you know what I'm saying, a little guitar and was just walking around the beach or something.
Done
You know what
know.
I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I just knew
Gotcha.
I knew from a young age, man. You know, you said you used to have us watching HGTV when we was young. I used to have you probably hearing the same beats a million times in the next
All
room for
weekend.
me just
Right.
playing around with music. So
Mm-hmm.
from a young age, I knew that music was gonna be something I was involved in.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same. Piggybacking off of that, it definitely music is my world. It's not just something I'm passionate about. It's music, you know. So I think definitely music, but I'm also really passionate about film too. So that's why I actually like being in New York now because I actually like. It's funny because I talk to Diamond and P about it all the time, but like I honestly think my presence in film will be much more profound than in music, you know, like and that's saying a lot because I love like music, but
Right.
that the vision and the ideas that I have in film specifically, um I really believe in, and I think kind of like the stars are aligning and you know meeting certain whatnot and just you know diving into that world kind of head first. I'm really excited to explore more of what that looks like, but I mean if you want to talk about it, I think I am living that reality right now, you know, being
Right.
that for
Right.
all those who don't know, like, you know, I left my corporate gig in December, you know, so I'm fully an entrepreneur now. I'm fully, you know, a DJ, producer, you know,
Right.
like all that stuff. I'm I'm knee deep in this thing, you know,
Right.
so I'm living right now and just navigating that on the day to day. So I love it here. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
You living the life. I can't wait to come visit you. I'm gonna cut up.
come on, man.
Cut up,
You like,
cut up.
for me, I would say definitely fitness and business, right? That's something I'm passionate about, and also just being able to like help people grow and just see self improvement. That's something I'm really passionate about. To just help people around me, like my circle, and just help them become better in any way, shape, or form. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's definitely something I'll be doing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have online training?
Oh no, no, not anymore. I used to want. I thought about it at one point, but now I'm so busy with like business and other thing I got going on. I'm not like doing like training anything again. However, if you do need like fitness tips and stuff, reach
I
out to
do.
me. I got you. I can put out.
Yeah.
I do.
I can put together like workout plans and whatever. So reach out. Let me know.
I do.
Diamond knows all the tricks and you know that boy loved to flex with his shirt off. So like
Come on,
I got a hoodie
man.
on today
You can
though.
go. Yeah. Guaranteed. Guaranteed his most recent post, he don't got a shirt on in it. Guaranteed. I ain't even looked. I ain't even looked, but that guaranteed. If I was to put I put everything I own on that, you know.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Summer's here, summer shreds, you know, we out here.
Come
Look,
on,
I'm probably
man.
like you, shirtless this summer.
we out
Well,
Come on,
maybe
There you
not
man.
go.
shirtless, but
we out here to get summertime fun.
I know what you're
for
saying.
sure.
We outside.
Let's see. Kay said, she asked, what was the scariest part for you hopping into entrepreneurship? That's a good question. So, we've talked about this multiple times previously, but I think that the scariest thing for me, making that full leap into entrepreneurship was just honestly, I'm a person. I've been very grounded in just like financial literacy and just finances just in general. So I always had to make sure that my pockets was always good.
Mhm.
And just I was never like I'm a leaper, like I'm very much a risk taker, but I like I move like with calculation
Right,
too though. Like I'm not just
right,
gonna get reckless, just like all right, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills, you know, like next month, but you know, we here, you know, like that stresses me out. Like anyone who knows me knows
right,
that like if I'm not financially good, I'm stressed. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
right,
that's a
I'm
fact.
I feel
sitting
that.
here like like I'm pissed off. I ain't gonna lie, you know. So that was the hardest part for me is just like when you take that leap of faith and like you know it's almost like taking a leap of faith you're at the edge of the
right,
cliff, right? And there
right,
you can't see the bottom. That's the craziest thing about it. Like there is no bottom. Like you just like I don't you kind of just like leap and just figure it out. And I think that was the scariest thing for me is just like not having that consistent income, like that steady income, I guess, you know, like to rely on anymore is kind of what is nerve-wracking, but at the same time I think that's like very inspiring and it motivates you too. You know, like it's just like, all right, like I have to figure out how I'm going to make ends meet, and you know, I got to put food on the table and stuff like that. And I think that that world isn't cut out for everybody, but I think
Right.
it does for the people who do live in that world and thrive. I think it brings out the best in those people, you know. So just being able to navigate that for like the last 3 to 4 months now, you know, just by myself,
Right.
has been a very eye-opening experience. But honestly, like I said, I mean, I love it here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Honestly, like I feel like I'm at the right chapter of my life where
Facts.
everything is aligning. I got the right people around me, y'all included, you know. So I'm just, you know, life is good. I can't complain.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, I don't think it doesn't always have to be scary, right? You know, you hear this all the time on social media, just, you know, jump into it. You don't always have to jump into it right away. You can also
Yeah.
work on your side gig, work on a business, and have your job,
Yeah.
and not quit your job. Like
Right.
I'm doing that right now. I still work as an underwriter in corporate, and I'm like building my business on the side. So right now, I don't feel like you need to like quit your job right away and go all in. You can just kind of like figure it out and figure out what works for you, right?
Yeah.
So
Ag-
like Z said, plan accordingly. Make sure you have enough money to like cover all some like unwanted expenses and stuff like that, and navigate through it. You know,
Yep.
take time, learn about whatever it is that you want to build. Yeah, you don't always have to like go all, you know, I'm just gonna quit my job right away and do it. No, that's not. I mean, some people can do it that way, but there are other ways that you can navigate and figure it out and still get to the end result. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be successful, right? It don't matter if you took just the other route, but once we're all getting there, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my thoughts on that.
And piggybacking off of that, Kay asked another question. She said, if you could give 3 pieces of advice, what would it be? To Diamond's point, I think the biggest thing is having a plan. Like, you know, I think like regardless of where you're at in life, you know, if you're working a 9 to 5, if you know, like you're just kind of like dabbling in entrepreneurship or whatever, like I think just really truly having a plan. I've always been the type of person I like to like kind of have my ducks in a row, and so I knew that like, you know, I had property and stuff like that that I've owned, and you know, being able to sell that and like, you know, have a cushion to where it's just like, all right, cool, like I have enough income to figure it out, you know. And at the end of the day, I know the type of person that I am. I know what I'm capable of. So I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to figure
Right.
it out. But I'm not just doing that empty handed, right? You know, I think there are some people who can do that. You know, like some people just pull up in LA, New York, and they're just like, I got, and it's we live in here, baby. We gonna get it. But that's just not how I function. I knew that I needed to have some kind of cushion, something to rely on, just to like, you know, make my life a little less stressful, you know, like so I don't have to like necessarily be struggling on the day to day, you know, kind of thing. Like I can figure out like, you know, I can't be like if my homie's gonna go out and get a meal, I can't be like, oh y'all, I'm just all back, y'all, you know. Like especially the way not just the way my bank account is set up, but the way New York is set up out here is different. It's
Right.
different. You know, New York like it's different. It's different. You ain't just popping out like that, you know. So I think having that cushion, like having that plan for me, that was a big thing. I think another thing that I would highly recommend, like giving yourself grace. That's one
Right.
thing really come around to in like the last year or so. It's just like I'm the type of person I have like really huge expectations of myself, you know, and I think we're our own worst critic, and so often do I find myself like, oh, I should be so much further than I actually am. But you have to take a step back and just reflect on like, A, how far you've come, but B, you don't have to necessarily like figure everything out every day. Like
Right.
you don't have to conquer the world each and every damn day. Like it's that's not how the world works. Like you can't change the world literally every day. Like it just takes time, it takes patience. So I think that's another thing. And then what would be a third piece of advice I give for entrepreneurship? I think just surrounding yourself with the right supporting cast, I think is another thing too. Like I think being around people who inspire you, who understand the lifestyle, because it's just like it's not just people who like support you and stuff like that. People who
Right.
understand where it's just like, yo, you trying to go turn up this weekend? Nah, I'm inside this weekend because you know I got to figure out, I got to make this work. I got to send these emails and do that. And just people who get it, like it's just like you don't like. It's just like, oh, but say less. You know, like I think it's important to have those people because you can be the most self motivated person in the world, but like you need those like voices to just like reaffirm everything that you're doing. You know, right? You need
Right.
those who just like yo, like. Now you doing this shit.
Right.
Nifa, you killing this shit. You out here slaying the Omni and shit. You doing it. You
Right.
know, you need those
Right.
Come on,
people
man.
to just get you over that hump. So I think those are the three biggest things I would say, just as far as entrepreneurship. I think having a plan, giving yourself grace, and just surrounding yourself with an amazing supporting cast. I think you're pretty much set up for success in that right. But honestly, I think the last piece of advice I would say is just like, and it kind of goes in with giving yourself grace. It's just like, you don't necessarily have to have it all figured out.
Right.
Like none do.
Right.
Like anyone who's out there saying that they have it all figured out, they lying.
Right.
Like has it all figured out. You're gonna slip and fall. You're gonna
Right.
fail. Like I found myself in positions where I've succeeded. I found myself in positions where I failed. And I think just allowing yourself to go through all of those motions and through the process, I think that's a big piece.
Right.
Yeah. I think I would add too is remember why you're doing it.
Yeah, that's absolutely
the bar.
The why.
Like you gotta start with your why. You gotta have a solid why. Because in entrepreneurship, if you have a plan, if you don't have a plan, if you think you have it all figured out, something is gonna happen that's gonna make you question, what am I even doing?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think for me and where I've been, I've jumped out on a limb into entrepreneurship and my why wasn't solid. So when my bank account was dry and it was in ramen noodles, it was me and LinkedIn jumping back into architecture because what I have a degree. What am I doing this for?
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good why so that you have something to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, that's true, because things are going to get harder, right? There are going to be some times and point that you're not going to figure it out. And one thing I would say, so though, like, just celebrate the little wins. I feel like sometimes once we start, we want to wait for a specific time. Oh, I need to get like 20,000 followers or before I celebrate. Nah, the fact that if you just get one client, celebrate that. You get 3 followers, celebrate that, because that's progress to me, right? Because you started with nothing and now you're seeing progress. Don't just wait to reach a certain number before you celebrate. Just take time and like celebrate the little wins every day.
Yeah.
Little
things that make a big difference. So
big gems, man. Got dropping them, man.
Yeah.
I just something around. I don't want to hold up too much more of your time, but there's one thing I want to circle around to. With you have being out here the weekend before, is we also got to knock something off your bucket list. And I'm gonna connect it to architecture here in a second. So we went on a hot air balloon for the first time, me and my cousin, right?
Yeah.
That was an experience, first off.
Sure.
But second off, like getting into the air and then seeing, like, because it's such a slow, smooth glide, but you're like high as shit, like you in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? So looking down and then seeing how a city's actually designed, it came full circle. I don't know if that was like why you wanted to, why that was on your bucket list or not, but when we was up there, it really made me like a whole nother like appreciation for architecture. It's just like I never knew this part of the city was like sectioned off like this, and you know what I mean? It's like half circles all the way up into this part, and then it's like a whole little water neighborhood over here. But seeing it from that angle really made me kind of appreciate how somebody comes and be like, yo, this is a big ass plot of land. Let's figure out how to make, a school needs to go here, or a neighborhood, a Walmart, whatever. But we need to design this section like that. Did it feel like it was full circle for you too? Kind of seeing all that stuff usually on paper and, from the lower level, but like looking at it from that hot air balloon, was that like, did you have a moment similar to that?
I think I appreciated the moment more when you started asking questions.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, I do know what that is. And that's what's going on. And this is what's happening. And I think seeing it from that point of view, because when you're in a plane, you're too high up to see the details.
Right. And fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we were right there at a level where I think we were probably a little bit lower than Google Maps. Like we can really see the things. Yeah. And that was kind of a dope appreciation because you can kind of be like, okay, I see how this person over here was thinking. That's why it's a circle. And this person was like, okay, everybody needs a little piece of water. So this is how this person was thinking, and this developer clearly likes the golf because every house is on the golf course. So
Yeah.
it was cool at that aspect. I think I was just appreciating the views for what they were, but your understanding was not as advanced as mine. So having to take a step back and be like, you know what, this is how I would explain it. This is what it made me appreciate it more on that level, because I think it's one of those things where you guys are all professionals in your own lane.
Right.
You don't understand how dope what you're doing is until you have somebody who's completely green. That's like, well, so what does this do?
Yeah.
How did you win that song?
Yeah.
Where did you get the song without the lyrics to put it on that song? You know,
Yeah.
like how do I lose weight in my stomach but keep my butt? Like those are all things that in your specific lane you understand that I wouldn't understand. So you being green and being like, so what's going on over here? What's going on over here? Okay, so how does is that the plot of land? It's like, oh yeah, that's the plot of land. You can see the developers. That was a dope way to kind of experience the city. So yeah, it was dope. It was appreciative that you didn't understand it in that viewpoint.
Yeah.
And you told me something hilarious. I got to put this because it's got to be on the episode. And you told me you already know I'm going with it too, man. So when we was looking at it, and then you told me, to be honest, like I never really understood, like if you're a developer and you develop like a little area of land or like a little neighborhood, I never understood like who's naming the streets, right? And she told me the developers name the street. Name the street. So tell me the story you told me, man.
So I work with my developer company that I work with right now. They have a partner that they're working with, and we are developing the streets. And part of my job is to kind of help get the stuff sent over to the people who create the GPS, so it can show up on the GPS.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were naming the streets, and the developer that we were working with, he was literally naming the streets after all of his ex-wives.
That is insane.
So the fact that that's plural, the fact that that's
ex-wives, like you know,
like that's crazy.
Ashley Circle, Carolyn Way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yo,
like,
that's
okay.
insane. I was crying when she told me that. I was like, we still on that hot air balloon. I'm dying up there. Like, that's nuts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, he did his thing out there, didn't he? Come on, man.
That's wild. I had no idea that the developers named the streets. That's crazy.
Yeah, so if you get a plot of land and you want to name it Zenas Way, run it.
That's hilarious. That's crazy. Like, his ex-wife, he probably be walking through that little area like, yeah, I remember Carolyn. Carolyn, because she was crazy.
You know what Diamond gonna name his street too? It's gonna be Bomb Boulevard.
Yeah, come on, man. Fine Avenue.
I live on Bomb Boulevard, baby.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Shirtless Ave. You can catch me on the corner of Shirtless Ave.
Oh man, come on, man.
Before we conclude, I have a few questions. One last question. So, what tips would you give, let's say, a young Black girl who's curious and want to like get into architect? Like, if you have 3 tips for her, like, what tips would what would those be? Those 3 tips.
3 tips. Oh man, because I love the babies. I would say be realistic in what it is that you want to do. Don't do something based off of what everybody else thinks you should be doing, or confine yourself to what you think you're capable of doing, because if there's something that you want to do, there's going to be alignment to make it happen.
Right.
So that was 1. 2, really understand all that comes in to where you're trying to go. Like, I said, for me, for instance, I wanted to be an architect. I made sure that I understood what it took to become a licensed architect, to be a full professional in what I want to do. because there's so many steps that go into anything. Like, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but who really wants to go to school that long?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so that's something that you have to really understand is what is really going to take to get to where you're going. And then third. And this isn't just for anybody that's, you know, young girls. This is for everybody.
Right.
Remove the expectation of checking off the boxes.
Right.
Because you're going to get to a certain point where you checked all of the boxes and you don't know what to do. And so if you remove all of that and define the life that you want to live for the life that you want to live, you end up with a more fulfilling life.
Love it.
So yeah.
You went crazy. You dropped a couple bars tonight, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that's gonna sit with me for probably forever is find something that your pockets is not hurting, but at the same time your heart is full, man. If you find the balance of that, I feel like that's the key to life for sure.
For sure.
That's the jam.
That's the key to life,
right
man.
there.
Yeah.
Shout
out to once again, you know, Miss Omni.
Come on, man.
I mean, like we said again, if you're ever in the Tempe area, make sure you book at the Omni in Tempe. It's a beautiful space. The espresso martinis are pretty good too. I ain't gonna lie, you know, they are at the hotel bar. And then what was the name of the hotel in South Carolina?
Oh, Hotel Hartness.
Hotel Hartness. Okay.
Yeah. It's a small boutique hotel, but it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any other like projects or anything that you're working on that you want to share?
Not currently, because they kind of ghetto where I'm at right now.
we working them, but do I want to share them? Is a whole different.
I do got some stuff in my back pocket that I'm working on. Money knows what's in my back pocket. But
yeah, I was gonna see if you was gonna drop it or not. But
I'm not.
We'll double back.
I told you why I'm not gonna drop it though.
We'll double back
stuff until it's fully cooked, because the congratulations takes away from the hunger of making it happen. So I'm cooking. Yeah, I'm cooking. Just know I'm cooking. Keep your eyes out.
You chefing. Well, thank you again for joining us. It was a pleasure. You know, we truly, like I said,
for everyone.
We see you, we respect you, and last but not least, let everybody know where they can find you.
I'm on Instagram and TikTok, Hanifah_Irie. That's pretty simple. That's where I'm at all the way. If you find me on Instagram, I'm gonna make sure you find me everywhere else. So, Hanifah_Irie.
Yeah.
So
and also,
we appreciate you being a part of this episode, man. This is one of my favorite ones that we've had so far. Because, like I said, I'm so green to, like, I love hearing about spaces that I have no idea about. Like, I'm just like, I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? So just like you dropping all them gems on us, it was like 100% gems. You know what I'm saying? This is a great episode, so we definitely appreciate your time.
Guys, I appreciate y'all.
Of course, and shout out to all the young Black girls out there for the aspiring architects. Y'all can do anything that y'all want. So shout out to y'all too.
Come on, man. Shout out. Black girl magic.
Shout out to you, because I saw you in the gym the other day putting in work, and I wish y'all like dope.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Look, I was for real when I'm like, how do I lose my stomach and keep my butt? Like, we need to talk. I'm so serious.
I got you. Reach out to me.
He's your guy. He's your guy for sure.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Keep it up.
Thank you.
And shout out
you guys
to all the dope Black women in the chat today too, man. Shout out to all the dope Black women that tapped in today, man. It's always dope seeing y'all, and y'all, you know what I mean, y'all show up in a major way, and y'all always keep the sauce on y'all, man. So it's always dope to see, man.
Shout out to y'all, man.
All right, part two.
All right, y'all. Part two coming soon.
Part two coming soon.
Bye.
All right, y'all.